You know, for decades, we've stared up at the stars and wondered, are we really alone? But what if the reason the universe is so quiet isn't because no one's out there, but because everyone is hiding? Today, we're going to dig into a seriously chilling solution to one of the biggest puzzles in science.
It all kicks off with this really simple but powerful question, famously tossed out over lunch by the physicist Enrico Fermi. He just looked around and asked, "Where is everybody?" And that one question, well, it cuts right to the heart of a massive cosmic mystery.
So let's start here with what we're calling the cosmic silence. See, to really get why this one answer is so terrifying, you first have to appreciate just how weird the problem is. This deep, profound quiet in a universe that should be absolutely buzzing with life.
I mean, when you do the math, things get really strange. You look at things like the famous Drake equation, and based on the sheer number of stars, planets, and the odds of life starting, our Milky Way galaxy alone should be jam-packed with civilizations we can see or hear, and yet, we've got nothing. Total radio silence.
And that is the Fermi paradox. On one hand, the numbers say the universe should be like a cosmic superhighway, but on the other hand, all we get is static. This contradiction has stumped scientists for ages, and they've come up with tons of theories, but one of them is a whole lot darker than the rest.
Which brings us to a really terrifying answer. And what's wild is that it didn't come from an astronomer or a physicist, but from a science fiction writer named Lou Shikson. And his idea, it completely reframes the whole question.
In his incredible novel, The Dark Forest, he gives us this powerful analogy. I want you to just forget everything about peaceful exploration or making first contact. In this version of the universe, it's a place of constant paranoid fear where the only thing that matters, the only thing, is survival.
So this is what it's like to be an intelligent species in this forest. You are not an explorer, you're a hunter. You're not just looking around, you're armed. And most importantly, you are terrified and you are silent, because you know every other hunter out there is too.
Okay, so how does this actually work? What are the rules of this terrifying game? Well, it's not just a spooky story. It's built on a foundation of cold, ruthless logic that follows 3 fundamental axioms.
Let's break these down. It's pretty simple, actually. Number 1, survival is the primary need of any civilization, period. Number 2, you can never ever truly know the intentions of another civilization. And number 3, if you accept those first 2 rules, the only logical thing to do is to stay absolutely silent.
So rule number 1 is just basic instinct: survive. Every civilization wants to grow, but here's the thing. In a universe with limited resources, growth isn't just a goal, it's a necessity. The logic is brutal. You either expand, or you will eventually get outcompeted and die. It's that simple.
Now for rule 2, and this is really the linchpin of the whole theory. You can never trust another civilization. And why not? Well, because the distances are just impossibly vast. A message from us to them might take thousands of years to arrive. In that time, a peaceful species could turn hostile. A primitive one could become a technological superpower. There is just no way to know for sure.
And that leads us to the third and most critical rule. If survival is your only goal and you can't trust anyone else out there, then the only winning move is to not play the game at all. Making a sound, revealing your location, that's like betting your entire planet's existence on a coin flip. In the dark forest, silence is safety.
Which brings us to the most unsettling part of this whole idea: Earth's dangerous signal. Because if staying silent is the number 1 rule for survival, then well, humanity has been breaking that rule loudly for a very, very long time.
Just think about it. For more than a century now, our radio signals, our TV shows, our radar, they've all been leaking out into space, creating this ever-expanding bubble of noise. We've even sent out probes with literal maps on them that say, "Hey, we're right here." We've basically been shouting our address into the cosmic darkness.
So if the dark forest theory is right, this is what we look like to the rest of the galaxy. We're not waving hello. We are a single, bright, incredibly naive flashlight in a pitch-black jungle that is filled with silent, hidden hunters. We've basically painted a giant target on our backs. And this is a serious warning for humanity. What are the consequences of being seen? Right? What happens when one of those silent hunters finally notices our little light flick on? Well, for a hyper-advanced civilization that has survived for millennia by staying quiet, our signal is a huge unknown variable.
They have no idea what our intentions are. They can't know if we'll eventually become a threat. And when you're faced with that level of uncertainty, with your own survival on the line, the most logical, the safest option is to eliminate the unknown before it has a chance to become a threat.
And this, right here, is the stark, absolutely terrifying takeaway of the whole theory. The reason we haven't heard from anyone else is because the civilizations that last are the ones smart enough to stay quiet. Broadcasting your existence into the void is quite literally an act of suicide.
You know, this idea also gives us a chilling answer to another concept called the Great Filter, this hypothetical wall that somehow stops civilizations from going interstellar. Maybe the filter isn't some natural disaster or a species destroying itself. Maybe the Great Filter is simply the first civilization that hears you make a sound.
So this theory just flips the whole Fermi paradox upside down. The silence we hear isn't evidence of an empty universe at all. It's the sound of a universe holding its breath. A galaxy full of civilizations that are way too smart and way too scared to make a peep.
Which leaves us with this final, haunting question to chew on. As we keep sending our messages out to the stars, are we just calling out into an empty room, or are we lighting a fire in a dark forest, totally unaware of the silent hunters that are watching us from the shadows? The answer? Well, it could change everything.